Intro.
Nice.
Ba-da, 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 dun, 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 dun. You got to go over the words to tap it. What up? Hello, and welcome to Recovering Addicts live stream, coming to you from the heart of Utah. We are RA, and we're a nonprofit dedicated standing shoulder to shoulder with those fighting the toughest of battles of their lives. And that battle is against addiction. We are a relapse prevention program, and guess what? We're long-term, and we are totally free. Woo! We are locally, we gather every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Iron House Gym located on 155 14th Street, Ogden, Utah. The first hour we dedicate to our bodies, strengthening our physical resilience as we work out together. And then the last hour, we unite our minds and spirits, sharing and supporting each other in our group therapy sessions. We are a therapeutic community, and the best thing of all is we are absolutely free. Yeah, you can join today and you can stay as long as you want. But this live stream, is for those who can't be here with us physically, but share our dedication to breaking free from the chains of addiction. It is for everyone looking for a beacon of hope, support, and connection in their journey towards long-term sobriety, fitness, or whatever ails you. Together, we're going to explore the latest news. We're going to deep dive into the intricacies of addiction. We're going to expand our spiritual horizons, and we are going to equip ourselves with practical health and fitness tips. Remember, this isn't just a live stream, it's a lifeline. And we are here with you every step of the way. And our motto is, say it with me if you know it, we recover better together. Woo! So take a deep breath and ready your hearts and mind, because together we're not just surviving, we are thriving. Welcome to Recovering Addicts live stream. So let's embark on this journey of healing and empowerment together. Woo! So I'm LT. I'm your host today. So what qualifies me to come up here and talk about addiction and all that kind of stuff? Because I used to be a piece of shit. That's why. I was a meth addict for a while, ended up in jail, all that kind of stuff. And then later in life, I kind of got scared straight and then became a raging alcoholic. And then my son in 2017 was in a horrible accident, the one that just came down and brought me my kombucha. He got his head crushed. And 2 years after that, I just nosedived into a huge bottle of whiskey, and I didn't come out for a couple of years. And then decided I had to check myself into a detox, went to rehab for about 6 months, and now it clicked, and I am not going back. All about fitness, all about health. Our gym is about recovery. And so that's me, y'all, whoever's watching. We have some special guests, and I will let them introduce themselves.
My name is Chloe Lawson, so I'm the owner of BodyNinja L.L.C. So I kind of have a little bit of the same kind of concept. I actually used to be 100 pounds overweight.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So when I lost everything and I
Is that
lost
bad?
the weight,
Like when you tell somebody like I was 100 pounds over there, and they're like, "Damn."
No, they don't really react like that. Usually they just act like it's not a big deal, and I'm looking at them like 100 pounds is a lot of weight to lose. And so I lost it naturally, but I just changed my life around. So I changed it to a lifetime change. And so I decided to help somebody else or other people struggling when it has to do with weight loss.
Awesome. John V, he's watching right now. He has an amazing story. He tracks his everything, alcoholic, gambler, and hugely overweight. John's been an inspiration to our community probably for the last 2.5, 3, 4 years now. Golly, time's flying. But John now runs marathons. He's totally into fitness, but he's dropped he couldn't even walk through the airport. You have to buy 2 tickets on the airplane, that kind of stuff.
That's amazing.
So John's huge, and I know that he's inspired with what you're sharing today.
Awesome.
So another thing for all y'all that are watching have been around for a while, this is my cousin Trina over here. She calls me little twat.
Little twat.
So it's really awesome and special and an honor to have her on there because we're both inspired. She's almost 10 years. You got 10 years?
10 years next week on the 28th.
10 years sober.
Yep.
Yeah. And I just hit 4. So
congrats.
Yeah, that's so cool.
You can't even imagine what you guys went through. Yes.
Yeah, she's seen me when I was a tweaker.
Yeah.
Probably here and there, not very much.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to even imagine, a struggle enough as it is without addiction on top of it.
Yeah, life's already sucks.
Yeah, it does in a lot of ways.
So let's ask you about your journey. That's what our first question here says is what was the moment you realized you needed to make a change in your health and lifestyle? So how did you get there? And then what was the moment that kind of clicked?
So I actually kept going up and down on dieting. I would use nutrition as my big thing, and I would go extreme. I would try to do these diets, these keto diet, try the Atkins diet back in the day, try HCG diet.
I remember that one.
Phentermine, Meridia, tried medication, but it's a temporary fix. And if you don't use it as a temporary fix and you start exercising, as you're losing the weight, it just comes back on because you can't sustain it very long term. And so what happened was I was walking up the stairs with just one flight of stairs with my son, who's like 2 or 3, and I was breathing really hard. I had a hard time breathing. So I just stopped myself at the door and I just was like, he's 2, 3 years old. I'm not even 30 years old yet, or 32.
32, 100 pounds overweight.
Yeah. And way overweight. Yeah. I was 230 at the time. And I'm 5'4".
Wow. 5 foot,
tall,
230.
Yeah.
So I was a size 18, 20. And I was breathing hard just walking with him up the stairs. And I just said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I just want to be there for my kids. So
how do you think you got there though? Like what?
So for me personally, I had 5 miscarriages throughout my pregnancy. So I was overweight my whole entire life. At 3, I was chubby. At 5, I was a little bit chubbier. So I wasn't really like obese at that time. But as I kept getting older, in 17, 18, I was 175 pounds. So, and then, I had kids. And then once I started having children, I would lose the weight, which was great. And then every single time I have a miscarriage, I would gain 20 pounds. 25 pounds because I would use food as my comfort. So my addiction, if any addiction,
100% it was.
Talk about sugar. I am very addicted to sugar, even now,
and that's
still to this day.
Super unhealthy for you too.
Yeah, and honestly, it's a different way of doing it. The only reason I actually didn't go towards drugs and alcohol is because my brothers were very addicted to drugs, and so I ended up doing the opposite. I watched how addicted they were and how they struggled. So I did something else.
Yeah.
But my comfort is always going to be food. It still is to this day. The only difference is I know how to control it a little bit.
She's never smoked weed.
No.
What?
No.
Yeah.
I've never smoked. No, I've never smoked weed. I've
Pause.
only got
Let me go get my pipe.
Yeah.
She just went and took me to her house and I got
What's that comment say?
first time. So that should tell you something. Yeah. She's
super sheltered. So what's John saying real quick?
Yeah.
He said, I'm always inspired by any story of improving one's physical and mental health. Heck yeah.
Yes.
John's cool. He's out in where's John live? Is it Boston? No, that's Sean. Gosh dang, he's out. John, I can't remember the town you're in. You're near Philly and all that stuff. So
Sweet.
Yeah, very cool.
Hi, John.
That's amazing.
So do you think, so you were overweight young, right? You were overeating then. And do you think like parents and education and food, what do you call that? Ignorance towards what food really does in your body?
So I honestly, I didn't eat very much. I would just eat a lot at once. And I think that's probably the thing that people don't seem to understand. You don't have to eat a lot. A lot of times people have this misconception that somebody's really overweight, that they eat all the time. That's not actually necessarily the truth because we starve ourselves and then we eat and then we store it. And so what happens is even children, I would eat 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or 2 bologna and cheese sandwiches in one whole day. But that still will eventually get you to gain weight because you're not exercising, you're not doing anything physical. And they took away physical activities in school. Most of the schools, they barely have anything. And kids don't want to do anything unless they have to.
True.
So that kind of comes with it. But so, yeah, my family, they just didn't understand. All of them were fit. All of them were thin. I was the only fat kid. I was the only one in my entire family.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. So you're 18, you gain weight till you're 30.
Yep.
5 foot, and you end up at what, 230, you said?
Yeah, 230 pounds.
And you're a mom now.
Yeah.
And you're you're having a hard time just carrying your boy around, right?
Exactly.
So that's rock bottom for you.
Yeah, 3 kids, and I just hated myself. So I went through some things happened in my childhood. I went through a lot of sexual abuse and mental abuse and emotional abuse. So because of that, I think I subconsciously wanted to be unattractive. And I think people don't understand that actually happens a lot to women.
That's a thing. Oh, yeah.
And so what we do is we forget that we just don't want to be looked as, look like we're attractive in any way because it makes us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so that was part of the problem as well, is that I just didn't realize that. So I wanted to kind of protect myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a subconscious thing throughout my life to
Yeah.
always put on a little bit of weight.
Yeah. I love having people on here that aren't drug. What did you say? Pennsylvania, huh?
PA.
I
Yeah.
lived there for a short time.
Outside of Philly.
Yeah.
What did he say? He says, I totally get that. I never became a dad because I couldn't be able to chase my toddler around. My 400s nor the max. He was 480.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing that you dropped so much weight.
I love having guests and I love talking to people, period. When it comes to drug addiction, right? Us drug addicts, we kind of get put on the side over here because we've done stuff that people are scared. That just seems scary. Like, oh, that's illegal. And that makes you lose your mind and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, we all have the same problems. We were either traumatized as children and then we cope and hide and, and we do all the same type of bad behaviors. And it leads to a miserable lifestyle of coping. And we all have to dig out in the same fashion, which is like whole body holistically changing, right?
Exactly. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed with fitness. Everybody wants to exercise, but they don't ever look at the emotional, mental issues they have as their childhood or as teenagers or as adults. So they're not willing to open up their own mind and do an internal dialogue and research what they don't like about themselves before they can ever get physically fit. And I think people forget that. It's like a very important thing. Most of the people I've trained throughout my life, almost, I would say 90% of them have some form of sexual abuse or some kind of issue. And I think that's part of the reason why
men and women.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. A lot more men than people realize.
Lots more. I've in the last 4 years doing what I do, like, because when we have our groups, we talk about all the bad stuff. And I was surprised at first, but now I'm like, wow, like a lot of guys.
Well, and you got a lot of emotional abuse for men too, because they're taught to not have emotion. They're taught to be angry or to just completely hide all of their emotions.
Except anger.
Yeah. And then anger is the only accepted thing.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why they're trying to use other outlets. And it's just makes sense. I mean,
so what are some of the journeys or your biggest challenges you faced in your fitness journeys, and how'd you overcome those?
So part of the biggest thing is that I didn't like myself. I hated myself. I was extremely depressed. I was angry all the time. I was yelling at my kids all the time. I hated being
How many kids do you have?
Mom. I have 4 now. I had 3 at the time. And I love my kids, but I also was always tired and just worn out. And so what I did is when I decided that I was going to make a difference, I tried to work on the nutrition part of it. I tried to work on the fitness part of it, and I just kept going up and down. And then finally, when I wrote down the things I hated about myself, I had 45 things on a list. And I wrote down the things I liked about myself or loved about myself. I had 5. And it took me over 2 hours to write it. And I looked at that list and I bawled the entire time. And then once I actually got to the point where I looked at that list and I said, okay, what can I fix now about myself? And so systematically, I took every single thing I didn't like and I changed it.
Whoa.
And so
that's awesome.
And then exercise became one of the progressions from that.
Oh man, if you're out there listening,
so
this isn't a woman who went to a recovery program like my cousin and I did, and like a lot of you did out there. But she took the exact same steps that we do. Write it down and face it head on. We have this saying, or this little story that we tell over in Colorado. There's this huge valley, right? 2 mountains on each side. Storms come rolling in, and the cattle in that valley will run away from the storm inevitably. Heard the story?
Afraid of it.
And then they stay in the storm longer. The buffalo, on the other hand, they turn and face the storm and they run into it, and so they run through the storm out to the other clear side faster than the cattle. And so you writing down those 45 is being a buffalo and charging the storm. And so we just talked about this in group Friday. It was like, be a buffalo, charge that storm.
I think people just don't seem to understand that if they don't face it, it'll destroy them. And so they eventually are going to be either unhealthy, on their deathbed, in a hospital, and they can't fix it then.
No. Yeah.
And so
do what you can while you're able, huh? Yeah. That's one of the things that motivates me.
And your mom gave you a little.
Yeah. My mom passed away at 67.
Oh,
And
wow.
so she was somebody that I couldn't save, I couldn't fix. And so she struggled her entire life with bipolar personality disorder, or bipolar disorder. And she just, a flip of a switch, she would go from angry to happy to sad. So watching her go through so much emotional stuff and mental stuff, it was kind of hard to watch as a child because you didn't know what to expect. An unexpected thing that can cause a lot of turmoil inside, where people go through addiction. People go through and try to figure out what's wrong with them. You know, and so with my mom, she passed away at 67. She was in a hospital bed for a week after she had a heart attack. And I remember looking down at her and saying, I'm never going to do this to my kids. So that's one of the other things. I already was working on my fitness, so I was already healthier. But that right there cemented trying to help other people be healthy. I wasn't going to do it again for
Should have lived with Leroy.
Yeah.
So you write down 45 items, right? Or traits, whatever you don't like about yourself. How did you organize it to priority one?
So the things that
and then what did you do to attack each one?
So the first thing I picked, honestly, was honesty. I think
That's
one
like
of the
first thing we learned.
That's funny.
Regular Bill W right here.
I didn't even know that you guys have this, to be honest with you, in this recovery thing.
You're going to work in a program. Like you should write it down.
You don't even know it, right?
Yeah. She doesn't know.
I didn't even know. Honestly, I just picked that because I didn't like, I was such a liar. I mean, I was a liar as a kid. I liked the attention I got from it. I was always telling big, giant, fat lies, always constantly being the victim. I was constantly telling people, woe is me crap. And finally, I got to the point where I was like, you know what? This isn't going to help me. So honesty was the first thing. And the first thing I did is every single day, anytime I would start to lie, I would stop in the middle of it. And I say, you know what? I'm sorry. I was trying to lie to you. Let me rephrase that. And I still do that to this day.
She's
Even
very
I start
honest.
doing it, I'm like,
Awesome.
listen, let me rephrase what I just said because it's not exactly right. I'm saying it literally slightly different. So I don't even exaggerate a little. I try to tweak every little
I do the same thing. And when I catch myself even exaggerating, the fish is this big kind of thing.
Yeah.
I try to, wait a minute. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, because it goes, it's a slippery slope.
It is.
Just like fitness, it's a slippery slope.
Once you say no,
got to be accountable.
100%.
Accountability, I think, is the hardest thing that's in this world now. Nobody seems to be accountable.
Oh,
once you learn to
nor do they want it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's funny, but the further we get into the progression of these types of stuff, physical fitness and health and mental, I want accountability. So I just went and did a job for the Other Side Village. All right. So I'm doing the Other Side Academy stuff. And then I go over and I start working for the Other Side Village. And there's a CEO that's in charge of that. I worked with for 3 days in a row last week. And the dude's brilliant, right? Business minded and all that stuff. Third day, I pull him in his office and I say, will you be my mentor? Like, can I meet with you like once every couple months and just like lay out what I'm doing and then just have you just give me feedback?
That's amazing.
But accountability is like huge.
Well, and also when you get older, you think that you know everything.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you being able to do that, that's phenomenal because a lot of people can't.
One thing I'm realizing, I'm old, but I'm not as old as you guys.
Little twat.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I realize I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like,
learning every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I think that's another thing is people like to tell people they know all the stuff. And I love the people who admit. You were just talking about directions to come here. Well, she was like, girl, I'm not good at directions. I'm like, dude, seriously, I am not good at directions. We're going to get lost.
Blind leading the blind.
We couldn't see in the dark. And we're like, God, they don't have any house numbers.
We just walk up to you.
We didn't have the lights
None of
on
these
either.
houses have house numbers. Yeah, that's what I said.
Like, no,
why don't none of these assholes turn their lights on? Their porch lights. I can't see shit.
And then she also said, we're like, dude, do they not even have numbers on their door? Like, I'm looking all over the place. And I start to step towards her and I'm like, listen, I'll just ring the doorbell.
Yeah, I'm like, you go up there. You got the muscles.
The funny thing is being able to do that. A lot of people are not willing to say, you know what? I'm bad at directions. You know what? I'm bad at this. Help me. And they're not willing to accept help because they think that they have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I think all of us are flawed.
Oh, 100%.
Nobody gets out unscathed.
No, hell no.
And we all have mental issues. That's another thing. People just won't admit that they are mentally unstable in some way. I don't care if you have the perfect life. You're still going to have something you have to go through. And so fitness, on the other hand, it helps you get through that hard stuff. For me, it's my stress relief. It's the only time I'm not taking care of somebody else. only time.
I like it because on a Monday, Tuesday, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when our group works out together. But you could have a crappy day. And even if you don't feel like working, those days you just like, fuck this.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, pretty much.
She does that to me sometimes.
Like I always tell the people, my friends and everybody online, I'm like, there's 90% of the time I don't want to work out, but 100% of the time I never regret it ever.
Yeah.
I'm always like, God, I'm so
That's
glad
why
I did this. Yeah.
It's more of a therapeutic thing in boot camp than it is
and it's
going to work out. I mean, those are my people.
Yeah. You get the good endorphins, you get the natural pain relievers.
Yes.
And it erases a crappy day.
Well, plus you get the social, like you said.
Yeah.
One of your things is that
instead of being at the bar.
Oh yeah.
Here's Chloe.
We're all social, and it's just like what you said. It's that positive social.
Right.
Yeah.
And people are there to encourage each other. At the gym that we were at, it sounds like the same thing at where you're located. Nobody's there for ego. Nobody's there for trying to get attention. No. They're there to be healthier.
Yeah.
That's their prime goal. So, and socialize. This one loves me.
Heck yeah. That's one of the that's just as important to work out as your muscles,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like relationships. That's why at our group we focus on your bio, psycho, social.
No, I love
so important.
I actually love listening to that because I've been trying to figure out how to promote all three in a fitness industry, and you figured it out. And that's amazing because that's not normal.
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about what they look like, and I'm just older. I don't really care. I look fit because I exercise.
Yep.
It's just a byproduct of what I choose to do.
I always tell people that too, because they're like, "Oh, you're so fit. Of course you can do it." And I'm like, "Well, you could too." And then I tell them like, you are the exact, and they don't like to hear this, but I'm like, you are a sum total of your decisions that you've made over the last year.
Yes.
That's who you are right now.
I'm going to make you come
and that goes for everything before even just physical fitness,
I'll have you come to my class and tell every single one of them that because I tell them that, but they don't listen. Maybe she does. She listens sometimes. It depends on her mood.
So what's our first rule in our group? Remember when we read the rules? Because I think it is be honest. I thought it was rule 2. But that's the first thing we tell people. From here on out, you're honest.
Yeah, I love that.
And you can tell when people are bullshitting too. And we'll call them out.
That's actually probably one of the best things about me as a person is I'm good with working on people's form, but I can feel people's emotions. And I'm very intuitive. So the problem with that is I feel everyone's emotions and I can feel their chaos inside. And so I literally train people based on how they're feeling. So every single class is different. It never is the same.
Ours isn't either.
Depends on the emotions of the people. Yeah. And so I could feel your emotions when I came in. I just love I love real people.
If their emotions like being a pussy, I make it harder.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
She tries with me. But
Sometimes. No, and I can get her to do stuff. It depends on how you do it. Some people, you have to be able to read people to understand that she's very strong-willed. She'll listen to me, but it's how I go about it. If I go about it and say, Trina, do this. No.
Some exercise I just do not like.
I can't. There's some now at my age and
right.
Like right now, we were talking about liking to do those crazy fitness, like outside workouts.
Yeah.
So I've had a bad shoulder for a little while, and I did a 50-mile mountain bike race last summer, the Eden Epic, and I wrecked during that.
Yeah.
And I'm going in on the 28th to get my rotator cuff fixed.
I did.
You got a torn rotator cuff?
I just had that surgery.
Oh, did you really?
A couple of years ago, and it's like a bionic arm. I'm going to give you just one tip of advice.
Please.
Don't stop going to physical therapy. It's extremely painful, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have 100% mobility.
Really?
This arm is stronger than the other one.
Really? Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
And I have the best physical therapist on the planet in the state of Utah.
I might need to go there.
He's a boxer. Yeah. Teaches boxing.
Yep.
Oh,
and he does jujitsu. He does boxing. He runs 6 miles a day. He's in his 60s.
He knows what's up.
He knows sports injuries. Like he's
a good guy.
Okay. So I have to make sure I get.
Yeah.
Because I go in on the 28th.
Yeah. So I'm telling you.
He owns Wasatch Physical Therapy, actually.
So, Wasatch Physical Therapy, there's 4 locations. He's in South Ogden.
It's the one over by Ogden Regional.
His name is Ernie Chavez. If you ever have to look him up, he's that good.
Ernie Chavez. Okay.
Yeah. He's a phenomenal guy.
Do we got any comments we need to respond to? The group of people I work with at F45. Oh yeah, his little family. Same thing. He's in a group that works out and does what us three are doing.
That's amazing.
When any one of us wins, we all win.
That's what I love about
Beautiful.
the fitness industry. If you're really there to be healthy, you're all there encouraging each other. There's
Yeah.
no competition,
Yeah.
so I like that.
That's awesome. Let's see what's another question. I love that the honesty thing is because that's so
That
huge.
is funny. I didn't even know that. It's just crazy that you guys do that. Those are important steps.
Mhm.
That's phenomenal.
I have this plus sign thing that I do.
Yeah.
And I get my whiteboard out and I write all over it. And I put, okay, let's talk about your physical health. Are you going to the doctor? And when you go to the doctor, are you taking his advice? Are you working out? Are you doing this? Are you brushing your teeth? Are you, A to B, taking your vitamins, drinking water, eating healthy, not doing drugs and alcohol? And then I move on to the next one, which is like mental health. Are you studying? Are you challenging yourself? Are you reading books that are nonfiction so you're continuing to learn? All this stuff to be healthy. And I get through this list of 4. It's like spiritual and relationships and how you're taking care of yourself. And I point at the list. I go, say, where's drugs and alcohol on here? And it's like just this little piece, and I'm like, so you get rid of drugs and alcohol, you still got all this to do.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa. And so I tell them, just removing drugs and alcohol ain't gonna fix anything. You got to work on all of this stuff.
And the thing is it just makes it worse in the end.
Yeah.
I just think people don't realize that.
Yeah.
When they're on it, they just want that escape.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they're off it, then it's 10 times worse.
You're still where you were at, but you got a hangover now.
Yeah.
Like you're going through the physical part of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. They got me drunk recently, and it was the worst
Don't
time.
say they.
One of the boot camp people, I don't get drunk. I don't usually let myself
Say
go like that.
Marisol Velasco.
Yes, Marisol.
Say her whole goddamn name.
And I'm a control.
We got a picture of her.
No, she's only 3 foot tall.
4'9", by the way. I'll help you out. But she, they've never seen me.
though.
They've never seen me at not being in complete control.
Yeah.
I'm a control freak.
I would have
Let's
got
be
you
honest
drunk
that.
too.
Yeah. And she got me drunk, and I told her, I said, don't give me just being muscular. Don't give me food. Don't give me this, because it takes a lot of alcohol. I'm the worst date ever because it takes so much alcohol. And so she did, and I blacked out, and I was like, listen, I'll never drink again now, because it wasn't worth it.
No.
It was horrible. It
Yeah.
scared me.
Really?
Yeah, she was really.
Yeah. She's never seen me not be who I am. So,
Gone.
and I honestly
Was she
woke up the
puking and all
next
that stuff?
day. No, I didn't.
No?
No,
It
she
takes
was
a lot
crawling on the
to
floor,
throw up.
licking people's hands, licking my foot, and knock her in the head.
Crawling towards
Quit it.
people. They had to pick me up and take me to the vehicle.
Oh,
They literally
geez.
picked me up and carried me. And so basically my husband's taking care of me at the end. And the next day I'm nauseated, feeling like crap. And
Don't remember nothing.
I don't remember anything. And I told Trina and everybody, I said, why would anybody torment themselves like this? Because I don't understand it.
Was that your first time drinking?
It's not the first time drinking, but I'm very aware of people around me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hyper vigilant person. And so I don't ever do anything that I'm not in control.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first time I've ever been around people where I actually felt safe enough to do it.
Yes.
And so they definitely took full advantage of that.
So it's your first time letting loose.
Yeah, to that extent. And I know
Good
that
experience.
sounds weird for somebody who's 47 years old, like you talked about age, but I finally let loose and everything. And I was like, why? I couldn't work out that day. I was so depressed.
It was
I was like-
horrible.
I was like,
what did
dude,
I do?
they
I'm
just killed
ashamed. I'm
me.
embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
depressed.
yeah.
Oh, I wasn't even embarrassed. I thought it was funny. Like, they told me all the stories. I don't remember it, so I don't really get
Yeah.
embarrassed. But
It only gets worse if you keep going.
yeah. So they told me all the crazy stuff. I banged some girl's head against the wall. I licked somebody's arm.
That was my
I
daughter.
was having fun apparently. So they all thought it was hilarious except her. She got scared for me because she
Yeah.
knows
I did, man. It's just, yeah.
she's never seen me like that.
Yeah.
So,
It's
so
just not healthy. It's
I
not
didn't
good.
like it.
yeah. And so I just was like, okay, that's it for me. At
Yeah,
47, I'll
you've
probably
seen
never
it, I'm
drink
done.
again. I don't need it.
That was a good experience.
Yeah. Now she
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah, now I know what it's like.
That's so cool.
Hmm.
So moving on to diet and nutrition, what's one dietary change you made that significantly impacted your health?
So
And do you have any favorite like healthy recipes and stuff like that?
okay, so I'm going to tell you something a little bit different than what you guys see on the internet and everywhere. People are always constantly worried about nutrition and they're never willing to get their butt up. Like, it drives me nuts. Exercise is one of the best ways for you to elongate your life. Nutrition's just a part of it,
Mhm.
right? And I can eat unhealthy. I can eat cookies every single day because I work out constantly, like 6 days a week, and I don't gain any weight. I'm still healthy. But what happens is I think people choose nutrition over exercise. So in my personal opinion, I will always pick exercise first. Always. But if I was going to give a tip to anybody that was overweight or anybody that has a hard time with losing weight, first thing that I tell people to do always, if you're going to a fast food restaurant, take one thing off. Seriously. Like if you're going to have a Big Mac with French fries, and let's just make sure it's like big, right? So everybody wants to king size everything.
Yeah.
So Big Mac, large fry with your soda, you pick one thing off. You take away either French fries and you keep the soda, and you keep the Big Mac. You take away the soda.
Caloric reduction.
Yep. And so what you do is you systematically start changing, and your body gets used to not having that. And it starts slowly changing the way that you crave food. And then you systematically change something else. So I love French fries. I'm going to be honest.
Oh,
if
yeah,
I
me
go to
too.
McDonald's, I'm going to eat the fries. But what I do is I take off the bread. I don't drink soda at all. And then I take the fries, I take one handful, and I give the rest to my family because they can handle eating it. They're tiny little things, but also it's shared. One large fry shares 5 people.
Yeah.
That's how we eat.
That's good portion control.
Yeah. And so you can still have the stuff you love. I think people just forget that you don't have to eat it all at once. And so I tell people another trick, you have a donut. If you ate that donut in little tiny pieces throughout the day, it wouldn't even do anything to your body. It's because you're eating that all at once.
Yeah.
And just people don't understand what portion control is compared to calories in and calories out. And so those are like little.
Do you think that there's a difference between the quality of a calorie though?
Yeah, it does make a difference because it actually puts so much the sugar rush that you get, the glucose that you get straight to your brain is going to give you that craving. That's why we crave.
It drops those endorphins.
That's why we crave sugar, because you get that dopamine that you get naturally in exercise.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you're aware of that, or if you don't understand that, you can do the same thing if you did 100 burpees. You could do the same thing if you did 10 jumping jacks.
Yeah.
Because people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah. Which one's easy?
So, yeah. Which one's cheaper? I'm going to tell you which one's cheaper. If they want to be cheaper, go exercise outside.
It is cheaper.
Yeah.
Pay now or pay later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we always do this choose your hard thing. I'm sure you've heard that a million times. But to be 100 pounds overweight is hard.
Yeah.
To go do burpees is hard.
Yes.
But which is hard? So choose your hard.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Because life's going to be hard either way.
Yeah. And I've been 100 pounds overweight. And I'm going to tell you right now, exercising every single day is a piece of cake compared to walking around with the extra 100 pounds.
I'll bet.
Big time. So I will always choose that over the other option I had. So yeah, just remember that.
You can smack her. That's okay.
She does. She tags me sometimes. So I'm like, okay. She's good at ducking a little bit, so she has to really try sometimes. But
we'll be at the gym tomorrow.
Drop a weight on her foot.
So
yeah,
she's lost over 50 pounds herself.
Yeah, she looks
in the
awesome.
class. And so that should tell you something. Like,
what's your experience with?
Yeah,
you're changing your lifestyle and fitness and stuff and working.
Well,
you're like her example almost of somebody that comes and trains with her, and you've been with her for 9 years and
followed her around the country.
Yes.
No, I quit drinking, and I needed somewhere to go besides the bars. And drinking bloats you, and I was a fat fucking bitch,
Yeah.
So I was looking, through the classifieds, and I found Chloe, and I thought, personal trainer, that's what I need, and we just clicked.
Yeah.
And this is my new addiction, Chloe. It's my new, bar that, it's where I go now instead of the bar.
Yep.
And it's a family environment.
Everybody there, we're just a big family. Taylor, my daughter, goes. So
I'm gonna have to come catch a workout with y'all.
Yeah,
it's so
and
much
we have a lot
fun.
of fun. We do.
It's a lot of blast because you get tire flip, you get to jump rope, you get a box a bag, you get to do so many things that isn't in a traditional gym. I'm not exactly sure what type of stuff you have at your gym, but I'm talking about like EOS or.
We refuse to jump rope.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Well, then you're definitely jumping rope if you come to my class. I make her jump rope. She doesn't like it. I'm like, come on. To me, jump roping is easier than running, and everybody else would tell me no. And
I'll jump rope, but I won't run.
I know. I hate running too.
Can't. Man, my knees are.
I'm figuring it out. So,
I can't get my fat ass even that far off the ground to put a rope between my feet.
well, I try to do the things I don't like. So I've been actually practicing on running. But let me tell you, I'm not very good at it. So
You know what you could do to practice jump
Yeah.
roping?
Yeah.
Is to have just the handles with no rope.
Yeah, I have them. They're for like little kids, but
I jump like
just short little kids, 5 feet. No, I'm just messing with you.
I just don't like jumping.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
doesn't.
It's hard. You know what we did the other day that we haven't done forever? How many did we do? Do you remember, Felice? Like 100 jumping jacks or something.
Oh, nice.
And somebody was like,
Awesome.
I haven't done jumping jacks since I was like a kid.
That's awesome.
Then my knees hurt the next day.
Yeah,
That's what
the
we start
hardest
off
thing.
with as a warm up.
Yeah.
Jumping jacks.
Well, the thing is that with the knees, the biggest thing is I think people just sometimes when you do the placing of your feet, a lot of times people put their heels down, and so if it still hurts you, that you know what's wrong with your knees. But a lot of times that jump roping, they'll say that to me. They'll say it's going to mess up my knees.
Not if you're springing off your calves. Yeah.
Yeah. If you land on the ball of your feet, it's not supposed to even touch your knees. Now the jarring might still hurt them. I'm not going to say that, but. So I kind of crazy about form, so I get on them a lot.
Form's huge. Yeah, we want to bring people in to get healthy, not get hurt.
Yeah. That's
I ain't trying to die.
Yeah.
That's actually hard to teach.
Get laid up in a hospital.
Yeah.
Still after 9 years, she's still correcting my form. I mean, it's a work in progress constant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The body, they kind of forget. So once you get tired, it doesn't matter even if you're trying to do it perfectly. Once you get tired, your body starts taking over.
Oh yeah, you start slouching and back starts rounding out.
Yeah.
With the diet thing, so you practice portion control when you do fast food stuff. Is there a regular diet you stay on that's clean?
So how I personally do is I used to be really more conscientious about my diet, but now honestly I exercise pretty good. So I would exercise 7 days a week.
But you do have the shred.
Yes, I actually have a meal shred that I created for other people, but I actually created for myself when I was doing a figure competition. So I was getting ready for a figure competition and everything. And then I was 8 weeks before the competition. I found I was pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you can't lose water weight. I mean, I didn't want to take a chance with her, especially with 5 miscarriages. So I was really careful with that.
Do you follow CrossFit?
Yeah, I used to do CrossFit for years.
Do you know Tia?
I don't do as much.
Tia Teratumi?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, she just had a baby. She's like the fittest chick on the planet.
Yeah.
She just came back. Did she win that last competition? She got second place after she had her baby.
That's amazing.
At that level.
Well, and it's so much work, that people have to put in. And I think people forget how much work they actually put into the body to get like that.
Oh, yeah.
And they think it's something that's easy to sustain. And it's not.
No, it's daily.
So
with the shred diet, what does that look like?
So it's actually a 14-day meal plan. So the biggest thing that comes up with the fad diets is the fad diets aren't meant for you to just do them and then completely go back to eating like crap.
Well, I made it.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Pounds.
Yeah.
So the ACD diet or any type of diet that you get from a doctor, any type of diet, like even the Atkins or the keto diet, they're all meant to change the way you eat. But what people do is they do it, they lose the weight, they get excited, and then they go back to eating like shit.
Yep.
And then they wonder why they gained the weight back. And instead of just using it as a helping stage to get to what weight loss they want so they can exercise or so they can start doing something else to kind of be better, they forget and they just go back to eating like crazy. So what I did is the 14-day meal plan. What it is it's literally 14 days of eating 6 times a day. Every single thing is completely set with portion control, healthy fats, healthy protein, and healthy carbs. So every single meal has all of it.
Yeah, as it should.
Yeah. And actually it's the optimal way of eating.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't think people sometimes understand that.
These crash diets are bad.
And so the 6 days a week, it teaches you how to do it and makes you drink every single meal and wet water every single meal. And it stops you from craving sugar. It stops you from craving the things that are really processed and really unhealthy because you eat so many vegetables. Don't get me wrong. Some of it might be a little bit processed, but it's nothing compared to the way we eat.
Yeah, boxes in the middle of the grocery store thing.
Yeah. And so for 14 days, you're eating so clean that people drop 10, 15, 20 pounds, depending on how heavy you are.
Right.
And after, the point of it is you can't sustain on this diet. This diet was meant for like a figure competitor. It's meant for somebody intense.
It's good for a
or
body
weight
shock
loss.
too.
Yeah, and something to change the way you eat.
Yeah.
And then once we do it with them, if you go back to eating like crap, you're going to gain the weight back. I'm not a miracle worker. You're eating like shit again. I don't care what you do, you're going to gain the weight back.
Yeah, your metabolism usually won't rebound either after a crash diet.
Yeah.
When you go back to eating like crap.
Exactly, because your body, you're already now we keep the metabolism pretty steady and we keep the muscle mass, which is what's amazing about this diet, is because I put so much protein into the diet that it actually maintain most of your muscle mass. Even when I was doing it, I lost 12 pounds at the time of the 14 days. I lost 12 pounds. And I had to stop myself from doing anymore because I lost a little too much fat. So I had to actually kind of stop it a little early. But what happens is I maintained almost all my muscle mass. I only lost a pound of muscle, which was
that's good.
That's sick. Yeah. So that's amazing to do for a diet shred.
Mm-hmm.
But after, it's supposed to teach people portion control, how to eat healthy. And then usually if you go off of that, then you start eating a little bit healthier and you don't gain the weight back, not near as much. And the rest of your life, you're choosing healthier options. You don't have to eat healthy every single day of your life. You just have to be aware that when you eat unhealthy, that you can't do it every day. You can't do it all the time.
Right.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
So I know there's probably times that you want to eat unhealthy. You just choose to eat unhealthy because you're a healthy person. You can do that.
Yeah.
So I think people don't realize that there is a point at the end of the rainbow where you lose all that significant weight, where you can actually eat a piece of pizza, but you don't need 5 pieces. You can eat 1 or 2 and be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, I think else ruins people in weight loss is all these fad diets. You flip through Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TV, even you got like 10-minute abs.
Yes.
You got lose this much weight in 30 days, this whole marketing scheme and art and appealing to our instant gratification.
Yes.
When really it's a lifestyle change. And you're looking at over a year of steady, continuous, dedicated, disciplined work to change your body.
If anybody does something for a year like you do with your program, they're not going to ever go back to the way they were. It's a very unlikely because they sustain it for an entire year. You know, I mean, if you can do that even for a month, a lot of times people won't go back. That's what's phenomenal about it. But I do get sick and tired of seeing, you know, okay, you're going to be able to lose just this belly fat and nothing else, or you're going to be able to just gain muscle and just your biceps. Like, doesn't really work that way. So
that's awesome. So maintaining a positive mindset, that can be tough, right?
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated and mentally healthy, especially when progress seems slow?
So for me, I honestly just made myself consistent. The biggest thing that I think that even with the fitness people I train now, I get on their case a lot about is consistency. Life gets in the way. And it's always going to get in the way. There's always going to be somebody else you can take care of. There's always going to be something else you can do. There's always going to be kids. There's always going to be your husband. There's always going to be work. So you have to make a choice. In 24 hours, you're telling me you can't work out for an hour.
Yeah.
It just kills me. Like, I just don't understand.
How many episodes of Netflix did you watch last night?
Exactly. And I tell people that. I'm like, how long are you on Facebook? How many times do you watch Netflix? And it's okay to have entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is literally going to save your life. There's going to be a point that you come in your life that you are going to regret not putting your health first. And I don't want that to happen then to them because I care about them sometimes more than they care about themselves. I'm always saying to them, listen, I got you. You just show up. You have a bad day. I don't care. I got you. Just show up. But if I could just teach people one thing, consistency. I don't go a day without exercising. Even that 7th day that people say it's overtraining, I'll go in the sauna, I'll do a light workout, but there's not a day that goes by unless I feel like my body needs a break. And on that day that my body needs a break, I get depressed. I have a very hard time because I'm sitting still and I don't know how to do that. So my family jokes around all the time. They're like, you know, hey, you know, you're too fat or you work on your health too much. Okay, so all of you guys wake up with aches and pains. All of you guys struggle getting out of bed. All of you guys struggle with your weight. Most of you, at least. All of you guys struggle about being depressed and having anxiety and having ADHD and constantly hating your life. But you're telling the person that loves her life, the person that doesn't have aches and pains, the person that loves getting up every day and loves life.
Yeah.
You're going to tell her.
You're making
that
them
she's
feel
too
bad is why.
late. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and I tell people that in my class, I'm like, listen, you're not here for other people.
Mm-mm.
Stop listening to the people that are telling you you're doing too much.
Yep.
Those are the people that want you to do less because they like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so
people don't want it. When people like us walk into a room that are disciplined, fit, it puts them on. They realize where they are in life and know where they should be, and they feel guilty. They want to be there, but and then they feel guilty about it. And usually, you know, some of the negative ones will bite at you just because of it.
And the sad thing is you're willing to help them. Most people that are very fit, they just want to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
They're passionate about it because they've seen the change. You saw what it did to you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're a recovering addict. So you saw in 4 years what mental change and what physical change happened in your life. And so it's the same thing for me. You know, I mean, I literally hated every fiber of my being when I was overweight. And it wasn't from the weight. It was all my trauma that was literally circling throughout my body my entire life. And I was putting it on my kids.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize what they do to the people around them when they choose that. And nothing about those people, but there has to be a point where you start looking at yourself and going, okay, how am I impacting others? And I think we forget that we are impacting other people around us.
And the other side of the coin too is when you start living this lifestyle of health, mental health, you know, positivity, that ripples out to people too.
Yeah, there's so many people that I meet, you know, I mean, that they can see me, they can see how I act with my energy level, and they just get excited about being able to just, we empower a lot of women in our class. You know, there's women that were broken when they came there, and just make them strong. They can handle anything. And that's phenomenal. If you can get people to be able to handle life, life sucks. It's not meant to be easy.
I always challenge our group to do something extremely difficult that you have to dig deep to push through. And for me personally, it's that 50-mile bike race that I do. It takes, so the first year I did it, it took me 10 hours because it starts in Liberty, goes up to Ben Lomond Peak, down to North Ogden Divide, up over to 12th Street. It's the whole Skyline Trail.
And all the way up and down.
Yeah. And then around Pine View and back to Liberty Park. And the first year I did it, I did 10 hours and something. And the next year I beat my time by an hour. And that was my goal all year. So I was riding my 10-speed and mountain bike, like 500 miles a month.
Wow.
Every day, 26, you know, just working hard. So then during that race, you know, 7-8 hours into it, humanity's gone. You're crying. Like, why am I doing this? This is stupid. Everything hurts. You want to quit. And when you can push yourself through those times, that's why I always challenge people to you know, go find something that's extremely difficult to do every once a month or every 6 months or so, and force yourself to do it. Like go train 5-6 miles in the rain or the snow or something just that sucks, so that you can make yourself do something that sucks, because it makes you stronger.
See, I always wash a load of laundry, put it in the dryer, and fold it all on the same day. That's my thing.
I just gave Link $5 to do mine.
See,
and she
do something that's hard. I'm doing laundry.
I'm doing a lot. That is hard too.
She does go up and down the stairs a lot, and she takes care of dogs. That is fine. Yeah,
laundry.
That's exactly it.
I hate laundry.
I hate it.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
That's why I like this.
That's discipline. If I can do the whole 3 things.
Oh, dude, like
wash, dry, put away. Like, I'm an adult.
That's true though. The laundry is probably one of the most difficult shits to do.
Dude.
And it never ends.
I'll just go buy a new shirt. Fuck this shit.
She would do that, actually. I could see you doing that.
Oh, that's funny.
No, I think that's smart. You know, that you do that. You tell them that they got to do something that's harder for them.
Yeah. What's up, Shantae? Hope everyone, your weekend has been good. Our weekend's been amazing. Who do we got here? Everybody hit that like button and comment. You guys can ask questions too. Laundry all day, every day, Shantae says.
Yeah. See.
She's in our group.
Every day.
So that's Shantae. That's the picture I just showed you.
Oh yeah. Amazing. Oh man, you look amazing, girl.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Congrats to you.
Wow.
Yeah, she's one that showed up and
beautiful.
My favorite thing too is like when they've been there a year, from when they first walk in the door to about a year later. Like Shantae's not the same woman she used
Oh,
to be.
yeah.
Not just physically,
Exactly.
but like holistically. Like she is.
Mhm.
It's
You
just
come
it's a
in looking
beautiful
like
thing.
Eeyore and you leave looking like Black Beauty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the confidence
Broke
and
down.
the strength and
That's awesome.
the choices that are being made, the family relationships that are being restored, and just it ripples in the other way.
Yeah.
Our
that's
negativity,
phenomenal.
that shit rolls downhill, but then our positivity, that rolls downhill too.
No, I agree.
You know?
That's amazing. You
Yeah,
should be
that's it.
way proud of yourself.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, what are your current health and fitness goals?
So I actually am pretty much at maintenance. So every once in a while, like you said about the challenging, I just do the Spartan race just to keep myself going. And so every once in a while, I do like a beast or a couple or trifecta, and it's only just to see if I'm slowing down. That's usually
to
what
measure.
it's for. So most of the time, I don't really have a gauge of trying to beat a time, which is actually excellent. I just want to see how many I can do in a year. And if I'm not physically like that beast, the one last year in Utah, that sucked, by the way.
Did you do the 25-miler?
No, I did the 13 miles or 14 miles. Just the beast is just 14, not the ultra. So the beast is just 13 or 14 miles.
Yeah.
But the terrain, it wasn't the beast. You know, the 14 miles is, for me personally, it's not that hard. But you going up those mountains, every time I went to a second mountain, I go to a second mountain, I'm like, damn it. And I go to the third one, I'm like, fuck. I go to the fourth one, I'm like, motherfucker. I get to the fifth one, I'm like,
and didn't you hurt your ankle or something?
yeah. So I twisted my ankle on the mile 4 because I was jogging down the freaking thing. And there's only certain areas you can jog. And then mile 12, I freaking flipped my ankle. And then the medic saw me, you know, because I'm limping. And he's like, do you want me to take you? I'm like, no, I'm getting that damn fucking
No
medal.
DNF here.
Because the thing is you don't get that medal unless you complete.
Oh, you got to.
So I was pissed.
Yeah.
So at mile 12, I'm like, dude, I'll limp the shit out of this thing. I was mad. I was really mad.
Oh, I love it.
And so I had the Spartan Super and the sprint the next day because the trifecta's all three. Crazy people like to do it all in one weekend. You can do it in a whole year, but some crazy people like to do it in a weekend. So I was doing that. And then next day I went to that physical therapist. I call him and I saw my pictures of my foot. As soon as I took my shoe off, it blew up like this big. You know, it's bruised everywhere. And I was like, I'll be okay to do the Spartan Super tomorrow in the sprint. He goes, are you stupid? Like, he's like, straight out. And I was going to do it, but I couldn't stand on it the next day. I literally intended to still do it with my messed up ankle. I got little issues in my brain here.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that I think that's one of the best things you can have people do is do something that's a little hard for them. Set goals. I think people don't set goals enough.
So question for you. You've tried her Body by Ninja services.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy the most?
None of the workout. That shit is bullshit. I enjoy that she doesn't judge anybody.
Oh yeah.
Anybody in there doesn't judge anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I can walk in looking like this, tatted up, dreads, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, if a bigger person comes in and is embarrassed, don't be.
Yeah.
We've got all shapes and sizes. I love that. And it's just Chloe. She's got that personality, just love, and she's almost this much shorter than me.
She tries to claim it.
Her whole family, like husband, kids, they're family.
Yeah.
Her little baby awesome. Sky, my little grandbaby.
That's part of the reason why I did the fitness business is because I had to be a single mom. I had to be a mom and a dad. So this was the type of job that I could do, that I could take my kids everywhere. I wasn't going to abandon them like they were abandoned. So I chose my kids first, and I figured out something that I was good at and something I already did well for myself.
Oh, speaking of doing good at, we have a reminder to quote your dad.
Oh, so my dad told me, so I was struggling trying to lose the weight. And so I kept doing the treadmill, and I kept putting these braces on my calves because I kept having shin splints really bad. And I would still struggle through them, but I would do them for 6 months. And I was telling him I was barely able to walk sometimes. And I went to my dad's house and I said, hey, Dad, you know, he's like, what's wrong with you? My dad was an avid runner, and he's been fit his whole life. So he used to be a boxer and so a fighter, martial arts his whole life. And so I've done that my whole life as well, and amateur boxing. And so what happened is I told my dad, I said, you know, I can't do the treadmill. I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to run like you. And he goes, some people are not meant to run. And he goes, and some people are not meant to swim. He goes, you got to pick what you're good at. And I said to him, I said, Dad, I actually don't know what I'm good at, because I was just getting into fitness and stuff. And he goes, you've always loved jump roping. You used to jump rope with me when I was training for my fights. He goes, you've always loved boxing. He goes, you do martial arts. He goes, you love boxing. He goes, why are you not doing the things you enjoy? And so I picked up a jump rope then. I could barely do 10 seconds at a time. And now I can go over an hour, 2 hours if I really want to. It's crazy, but yeah,
You've seen her in the
like that.
videos.
Yeah.
But the
Look like Rocky.
It's crazy, bitch.
Yeah.
but the thing is that it's just all about practice. You know,
Yeah.
I think people give up before they get good at something.
Yeah.
They give up way
Facts.
too easy
Yep.
before actually, just because it's hard.
Yep.
I tell people all the time, my kid who's 17, he struggles constantly. And I'm like, listen, you're never going to get good at something if you give up every single time.
Keep quitting. Yeah.
Yeah. And it comes down to what you guys are doing. I'm actually way impressed with what you guys have done.
Thank you.
Phenomenal to even hear like the way you have it set up.
Thank you.
Yeah, because you don't just have the fitness side of it, you have the emotional, you have the intellectual, you have the mental. Like it's just kind of cool to even hear your story.
No, thanks.
Yeah. So
I used to be a pizza chip.
yeah.
Balancing fitness with life.
So I don't
Quit
let
being a pussy. We have 24 hours a day, get an hour.
that's exactly what I think. Even my husband will say to me, he goes, I'm home. He's a truck driver. And he goes, I'm home, I'm going to be home at this time. I said, well, okay, so I will change my 2-hour or 3-hour workout to an hour. And he's like, okay, if you still have to go, there's not an option. If I have to run outside, if it's a blizzard, I will still work out. I do not care. I don't care if I run up and down the stairs, because for me, that's my mental break. That's my only stress relief I have, because I feel like I'm always taking care of somebody else, which I love, but I'm always taking care of somebody.
Yeah.
And it's the only time that I get time for myself. And I think we forget as women, especially women that have children, we forget that we need a break ourselves.
Yeah.
We got to stop this mentality that we need to take care of everybody else and we're not important.
Got to take care of yourself.
Yeah. And it's one of the most important things. I'm a better mom because of it.
Yeah.
I don't yell at my kids. I'm not arguing with my kids. I'm not fighting with my kids because, one, I'm tired because I worked out. But the second reason is because I'm calmer. My brain is not chaotic. You know what I mean? I walk around at high voltage, 100% always. So my energy level is extremely high. And the only way I bring it down so other people can be around me is by exercising. So that's part of it.
Because she's just like,
I am.
She didn't shut the hell up since we got here, right?
Yeah.
And she still has words left over.
I know.
For the podcast.
She took 2 breaths.
Well, the biggest thing I tell people is I'm extreme. I am. I'm extreme. I either talk a lot or I don't talk.
Yeah.
So if you want to see the not talking, that means I don't like you.
Oh.
That's literally what that means. If I don't talk to you, I don't like
She
you.
doesn't dislike too many people.
Yeah, I can see
True.
disliking too
That's
many.
true. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
what I like is like I said, we're a family. We go through divorces together. We go through deaths of parents or deaths together. Our kids in school, we go through all that together in this little boot camp. And there's like 20 of us there.
So important.
It is. It
The
is.
whole world needs, not just addicts, not just, the whole world needs what you're offering. And
a lot of
so
them need
awesome.
what you're offering.
Oh, yeah.
You got a lot of that going on.
That's important.
The only thing we can't do is what sucks. I tell people this all the time. I'm like, I can tell you how to do it. I
Can't
can
do it
show you
for
how to.
'em.
Yeah. And I can't make you want to.
Yeah.
You're the only one. Like, I ain't got nothing for you when it comes to you wanting to. You have to do it.
I took her son to a meeting, and that was pretty much what I said. I opened the door for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 17 and he was struggling with alcohol and weed and off and on. And we have schizophrenia in our family. And so him doing any type of drugs whatsoever, it can be a trigger for that.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
the problem
not
is
good.
I'm trying to keep him off the streets when
Yeah.
he gets older.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm trying to save his life sometimes. And that's
Mhm.
exhausting. But the best thing about it is, you have friends that understand a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's what she's talking about, no judgment. I've went through hell and back. I have no right to judge other people's steps. So
What did Shantae say? So there's so much going on in the world, in our lives, and every day that hour of working out truly does calm every stressor down.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
She's awesome.
That's awesome.
So where can people find you? Where are you located?
So I actually have a location that I just opened up. It's in Far West. The address is 3677 UT 126 or Highway 126.
It's on your website?
Yeah, and it's
like-
Building I.
Can you drop that link in the chat, babe?
It's like on your way to Smith and Edwards.
Yeah, it's right off of 2700 North. It's great for
Mhm.
people that are in Pleasant View and Plain City and Hooper and areas like that. But everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter what their skill set is. That's the best part. Doesn't matter their size.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we work with everyone. And like we say, even though
Sliding out of my chair, my big person chair, my feet hanging off.
I
Can't
know
even
Planet
touch the
Fitness
floor.
has no judgment thing, but we really are no judgment. So
Yeah. Well, Planet Fitness is.
Yeah. it's just
They feed you pizza there.
I know.
and bagels
And Tootsie Rolls.
Hey, I actually
Really?
worked
I
out
might go
there for
back.
a long time. You know, I did actually.
Do they have coffee?
Yes.
I could make it work.
So I don't mind that place. I just feel like it's set for certain people. You know what I mean?
It's a demographic.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so I actually lost a lot of weight going there.
Oh,
To
really?
be honest with you, Planet Fit was the place I went to. But when they started trying to make you not jump rope, or they try to make you not do certain exercises because now you're too fit.
You're a lunker, yeah.
Yeah, then you
Yeah.
become like that.
Yeah. I've worked out
She
Planet
could do
Fitness a
that.
couple times.
Yeah, I could see her dropping it on purpose though. Trina's like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for
I would do it with her if we were
for
together.
sure.
We are blood.
Yeah. I like Vasa though. I got a membership to this Vasa right here.
Yeah, do you like
And
it?
I do. I like the sauna
Uh-huh.
and the spin class.
That's awesome.
I love spin.
I
That's like-
just the one that I
John
go
V
to,
loves spin too.
the EOS I go to is the sauna is separate, which is fine. You know, I mean, I don't mind, but it's really small.
Hmm.
That's the only thing I don't like is it's a very small place.
Hmm.
I don't like being closed in
A
very
little
much.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
So we can find you out in Far West.
Yes.
We just dropped your Instagram and your website into the chat. For
Awesome.
anybody that wants to see it, check her out. Is
Thank
there any
you.
other ways, anything else you want to? Oh, we had one more question. Anybody that's just getting into fitness or even trying to maintain fitness, what was something you'd have to tell them?
The biggest thing is I think that consistency. I think a lot of people give themselves too many days off. They hear all the time about the words overtraining, and they're gonna get their friends and family telling them they're overtraining
Yeah.
because their friends and family are not doing it.
Yeah.
The worst people I've ever tried to listen to are people that are not fit who are telling me I'm doing too much.
Yep.
So I just tell people, I was like, listen, everybody's going to try to stop you from being healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that their intention is, you know, they love you to death, but it makes them, like you said, uncomfortable.
Yep.
And they feel like you're overdoing it. Everybody wants a happy balance.
Yep.
So you want a happy balance of being mediocre.
Yeah,
That's what
screw
you're telling-
mediocre. That's
That's
exactly
you're
what it
telling me.
is.
And I don't understand it.
I refuse to be
Yeah.
mediocre.
Exactly.
It's like your
Yeah.
drunk friends don't want you to quit drinking.
No.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
Well, and you're
But I'm still fun sober, so
Yeah. And you don't realize that until a year later after quitting. At least I didn't.
yeah.
no, exactly. Same thing with drug addiction. You know, I
Mm.
mean, your friends want you to do it with you.
Yeah.
You know,
Keeps
it's that
them.
camaraderie. Yeah. But you can have friends like this and then you don't have to worry about that. She's a sweetheart. She's one of my best friends. to be
I love
honest.
it.
So
You don't have to bullshit him. He's
Yeah,
related to
don't
me.
you?
Sure.
no, she is.
Yeah, she's a real sweetheart.
So
Little
sweet.
twat.
She is. She might fight with me. She's feisty. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
feisty people. I like people that are willing
Me
to say
kick the
whatever
cop
they
in the
want.
balls? No.
No.
Yeah, you should tell them what you were trying
No,
to do
I-
earlier. With this,
Don't.
I'm
don't
just saying.
I'm like, we are live. Don't.
Just joking.
This may or may not have happened.
No,
Right.
I'm just joking. she's just a fun person to be around. So
I agree. I agree. Alrighty. Anything else?
no, I appreciate being here. And
Body
stuff, and
Ninja Boot Camp.
Body Ninja Boot Camp, Far West.
Yes,
Check
Or
them
is it
out.
Body
y'all.
Ninja Fitness. Is that what it is?
either one. We teach weightlifting as well. You know, I mean, I'm known for that as well. But boot camp seems to be the thing that people come here for. So.
She also does an all women's weightlifting class. If you don't
Mm.
feel comfortable with
Sure.
men in the class, she does an all female class.
That's
and all women boot camp as well.
Mm.
Because a lot of times I feel like some women just don't feel comfortable with men around
Yeah.
sometimes.
Even though our
That's
guys are
nice.
cool, they don't
Yeah.
care.
We
But
do have really cool guys.
we get it.
We got some
I get
really
it. They-
athlete
Because
guys.
when they're there, they just look at me. So I get it.
Stinking pigs.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. That's exactly. I'm gonna say yes. for sure.
Trifling.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming to the show.
Oh,
So we always
thank you.
close with doing the serenity prayer.
Okay.
So if you know it, say it. If you don't, no worries.
I don't, but I
So
will
we say,
definitely.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Awesome.
I
All
love
right,
it.
y'all. Thanks for coming. Remember, what do I usually say? Do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your programs, and remember, we recover better together.
Yeah.